Before we get too far into the video today, I just want to give a big thank you to all of you for watching and as well for subscribing. We finally hit 200 subscribers here on YouTube, so big thank you. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe. And if you have, let me know when you started subscribing, whether that be at 150, 50, maybe you were the first subscriber. Be sure to let me know down below. And also make sure you like this video. But with that, we'll jump right on into it today. Here we go. Hello everyone, welcome back to On The Fly. Today we are going to be taking a look at the top 5 On The Fly videos, and this is all based off of my own opinion. So let me know down below whether you agree or disagree with these rankings. As well as I mentioned off the top, this is the 200 subscriber special. So if we have 300, we'll probably do another one of these, if not something very similar. So let's try and get to that goal by, who knows, maybe December? Never know. So yeah, so we'll jump right on into it today with number 5 on this list. And with number 5, it is a very special video, as it is the very first video I made on this channel. This is Swiping the Seattle Anaheim Ducks edition. And really when I look back to this video, it's one of those videos where it's not necessarily the best created masterpiece that you've ever seen. And in my opinion, pretty much every video aside from this video is better. But at the end of the day, for me, it's sort of a spot to look back and remember sort of where I was. The fact is, this video took me 4 hours to make. It probably took me 2 hours just to get an intro down. And I ended up having to split it into about 4 or 5 parts so you can see the helicoptering sort of camera angles as I do cut. And now to be able to do it pretty much in one take for the most part, it's definitely fun to watch. And even just looking back, it's one of those videos where you just laugh at yourself and how far you've come. So for me, coming in at number 5 on this list is Swiping the Seattle Anaheim Ducks. And I'll show you sort of a little montage of that video right now. Hello everyone, welcome to On The Fly. Today we're going to be looking at a new series called Swiping the Seattle. We'll be looking at all 30 NHL teams that are put up for the NHL expansion draft this coming year. We will start off with the Anaheim Ducks. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please consider dropping a like, subscribing, leave a comment if you disagree or agree with me, and share it with all your friends. Have a good day. Alright, so with that video, obviously a classic. Being the first video, you can obviously tell I was a little bit nervous in front of that camera, not really being able to speak to it. And that's one of the things I really like about it, is just seeing how far I've come and the ability that sort of enabled me, and especially the series is onward. Swiping to Seattle was my very first series, my first video I'd ever made, and being able to come up with that conclusion, have a good day, wasn't quite the thing that I kept. Let me know down below as well if you'd like to see that. For me, I'm not going to keep it right now. We're going to keep the see ya. But with that being said, we'll move on to number 4 on this list. And with number 4 on the list, it's a video you've probably never heard of because you don't have an hour to kill. But if you ever do, your guide to every 2021-2022 UFA. I'm going to throw the picture of the board up right now. But this video was something that I look back on and wonder why I ever did it. It took an hour to film, but what you don't know is that it took about 3 days just to do the board, having to write down every 2021-2022 UFA. Looking back on it just makes me laugh to go through that. And to be honest, I'll save you sort of the boredom of having to listen to me just say every player's name. It was a video that I wouldn't say is my best created video, but it always makes me laugh, and just sort of remembering going back to that period, having to really just do that board that took 3 days, and I kid you not, it took me 3 days to write every name down, having Cat Friendly just sitting on the computer while you're scrolling and just doing that. It was a fun video to do, but it was one of those videos where it makes you look back and wonder, why did I do this? But move on here, coming in at number 3 on this list, and this is actually sort of one of the main reasons why I started a YouTube channel in the first place, is to have the ability and be able to make these sort of videos, which is the IIHF Cancellation Rant. This video was rather fresh for me. I'd never done one of these in the past. Going in there, to be honest, it was about a half hour after they officially announced it, and I'd just been pacing the floor before that. And was really just trying to figure out what to say, and I didn't really have any good points that I had going into the video, and I sort of just took it sort of raw. So there's a lot of ums and an ahs, but at the end of the day, This video was one of the main reasons why I started a YouTube channel, so I could have the option to do this, especially with the video that was really near and dear to my heart with the IIHF, and I was pretty happy with how it turned out. There were some parts that were a little bit questionable, but I think I really did get my message across in this video, so I'll show you a little bit of the highlights from this video right now. At some point, if you are the Federation of Ice Hockey in the world, you should also actually want to have hockey. The IIHF has now given up on the actual hockey side of it and would much rather just have the money, and they become the International Ice Hockey Corporation instead of the Federation. Look at even the women. The women are losing their opportunity to get known, especially in the world right now where there is a lack of women leadership and overall hockey and sports. In general, you have to have some sort of representation, and by losing that, you're losing the game of hockey. And overall, right now, you guys are failing miserably. If you want to actually have hockey in this world, I believe that there is new leadership required, and you actually have to care about hockey. At the end of the day, hockey has to come first before the money. If you were the IIHC, it makes sense, but instead you're the IIHF. Get it together and let's go. So in that video, obviously, a lot of emotions coming off of the recent World Junior cancellations. On top of that, with the rivalry series, the NHL players not going into the Olympics, I sort of grouped that entire video together. So it wasn't necessarily the most organized of videos as some of the other videos have been, but for me it was just sort of just one of those ranting videos where you sort of click on it and you laugh. For me, that's really what it was about, and there wasn't much more to it, to be honest. But move on here with, speaking of a chaotic video, we have Swiping to Seattle, Toronto Maple Leafs edition. And this one was titled Special Guest because there was 2 new people on the series. And it was the first video where I hadn't actually been a part of it. And for me, it was one of those videos where I still look back on it and laugh. You throw 2 Leafs fans that really haven't ever done something like this before together, and was pretty funny video. I tried to get all the best parts from it while trying to keep it to the actual video, which was the whole point of the Swiping to Seattle series, which was the Seattle expansion draft. But when we look at this video, it was just an absolutely chaotic video. I still look back on it and laugh because I really gave them no directions, sort of just letting them do it on their own way, but while sort of trying to edge them towards the actual point of the video. So I did try and leave them till the end to give their own little rant about the Leafs, obviously coming off of a disappointing 2020 season. This is sort of what we got from them, and I thought it was pretty good overall. The 2021 season after all, and the Leafs obviously not quite making it. This is by far my favorite rant. I'll show it right now.
Our Toronto Maple Leafs, we love the team. There's always next year, we say. There's always next year. Oh boy, that's a long time since a Stanley Cup. 1967. Oh.
We're all waiting. We're all dreaming. We're all hoping.
However,
we're all believing.
Oh, all believing. However, this does not phase that. We love the game of hockey. We love our buds. We will never ever take them for granted. They're Canada's team, we believe. Some may not agree with us.
Yeah, Canadians fans.
So obviously 2 Leaf fans just expressing their love for their buds. And then this one was obviously, as I mentioned, not very organized. I sort of just threw them together at the end. And for me, I didn't necessarily give them all the explanations of what to do. So if you ever go back, and I do highly suggest you watch all these videos, all links will be in the description below. But for this one especially, it was quite funny. They messed a few parts up, which I sort of had to edit out, but with that being said, not much you can ask for. They did a great job, and we'll move on here to the honorable mentions before we get to the #1 spot. So the first one, Team Canada Women's Olympic Preview. So in this video was my very first time actually experimenting with graphics, and to be honest, it wasn't necessarily the best edited video, but at the same time, it did what it needed to do. I thought it was pretty good. So I'll show you a little bit of that right now. We'll take a look at this year's current roster. To start off, we have Rebecca Johnson with 4 Olympics, Laura Stacey in their 2nd Olympics, Sarah Fillier in her first Olympics, Jill Saunier in her second Olympics, Melody Daou in her third Olympics, Brianne Jenner in her third Olympics, Sarah Nurse in her second Olympics, Natalie Spooner in her third Olympics. So obviously in that video, not necessarily the most best video ever made, not necessarily the most entertaining one, but it did do a pretty good preview job in my opinion, and I thought it really sort of helped me to understand what I need to do graphic wise. Someone had suggested it, I did it for that video, and for me I think that really helped me because it started to allow me to do other stuff with graphics. All the other men's previews that I did had those graphics as well. So sort of being able to do that, that's where that idea sort of generated from, and you can see it especially in the content now. But we'll move on here to another honorable mention on this list, and in my opinion, probably one of the best intros I've ever done in a video, and that's COVID Calamity, which was a Olympic Day recap, and was pretty funny in my opinion, and in my opinion, the best intro I've ever done. It took me all day, and sort of the backstory of it was Russia did in fact have a team full of COVID. They didn't submit their COVID tests, which delayed the game, the Canada game, till around started. It was supposed to start around 10 o'clock, and it ended up having to be pushed to, I believe it was 11 o'clock or 12, and this was on a school night. This was on a Friday. Me being the Canada fan, I stayed up to watch it. Shouldn't have done it because the game ended at like 9-0. I don't remember the exact score. You'll see it here in a second. But the game went really late. I stayed up for it, and then all day at school I was trying to figure out, what I was going to say about this video. So what I decided on was this. Hello everyone, welcome back to... where's your COVID test? You need a COVID test to play tonight. But you need a COVID test. Mine's right here. So anyway, that was the story of tonight, as the Russians did not show their COVID tests on time to the Canadians. The Canadians refused to play until the Russians were to sort of give out their COVID results. And they ended up not having to do that. So what ended up happening was both teams had to wear masks throughout the first few periods of the game. Russia, however, did not wear it in the third, so I'm not entirely sure if they got the results. It wasn't announced, so I'm not overly sure. I'm sure something happened in the background where the Canadians still wore their masks. So that was indeed the end result, and it was one of those videos where it wasn't necessarily the most serious of videos. I wanted to have a little bit of fun with it. I was trying to figure out what to do during the day, sort of brainstorming ideas for that, and that was the end result. So, let me know down below what your thoughts were on that. I thought it was pretty funny. I thought it was well done. But we'll move on here with the NHL trade tree, and this was one of those videos where I didn't really think I was going to end up doing one of these. I did do it. I'm probably going to do it again at some point. It seemed to do pretty well. It was one of the more cool sort of videos I've done, being able to map out how this trade affected everywhere else. And the one nice thing about it is that there wasn't really anything that you could go online, Google it, and do trade tree, right? So one of the things I had to do was actually have to do all the research for it, and that was really cool, being able to sort of track through the years where the trades went and how the deals went. So this one was pretty cool. I'll show you a snippet of it right now. So overall, this was obviously a trade that it has been going on for a long time, even though Cam Neely is long retired. So that was the NHL trade tree, as you could probably see by the board. It was a very long trade tree, and this one was a pretty good video overall, I thought, in my opinion. It wasn't necessarily the most iconic ones, wasn't necessarily the most near and dear to my heart, but for me, it was a pretty good video overall. I liked the process of it. I thought it was really cool. I look back on it still, and I do enjoy watching it, just sort of to see the different stuff and being able to sort of see where an older trade can get you. It's always a cool idea. But we have now made it to the number one spot on this list, and there was a few other options to choose from, and these aren't necessarily honorable mentions, but for me, there's 3 videos I was looking at. I wanted to sort of pick the best one. For me, number one on this list was Canada Reacts to the World Juniors winning gold, and for me, this was really cool because I got to experience it with all my buddies, and it was one of those videos where we hadn't actually planned to do it, to be honest. They came a little bit later than I expected. I'd thrown it out there, maybe we'll do this, who knows. But at the end of the day, we thought, no, we'll wait till everybody comes. We're not going to have a full video. Then all of a sudden, Finland tied the game at 2s. And to be honest, I'll show you here in a second, but the description that my buddy gives about the situation was exactly right. We weren't necessarily going to do it, Then it got tied. Then there was a penalty, and we're all scrambling to find all the stuff to get it set up. You can see me running around in the background. That's me trying to set up so that you can actually see us. And it was one of those videos where it was really cool to do. The result was amazing. In my opinion, this is the best video On the Fly has ever produced. So I'll show you the video right now, sort of the snippet of it at least. So here you go.
So, if future us is looking at this, this is the 2022 World Juniors. It got postponed because of the COVID-19 pandemic that I'm sure is still going on wherever you're watching this from. It's actually August. It's not even January or December, January. So
Right now we want to get a 5-minute power play.
We're about to get a 5-minute power play. There is 4:39 left in the third period. It is 4-4 right now, but not anymore. Or no, it will be for 57 seconds. It's 2-2.
Look at the extension.
And it was up 2-0, and we decided that we didn't want to.
No! What? Why did they change it?
Basically, like.
That's so bad.
You can't change it. No!
Trip! Trip! It's a trip!
Save that!
Figure it out. Let's go.
Or else you're not going to the NHL.
Oh, go on. Go on.
Ken Johnson.
Yeah! Let's go! So, yes, that was the Canada Reacts to Winning Gold medal. You saw the golden goal, you got the golden save, and you got the description from my buddy Luke, who, yes, was also in the second ranked video, according to me, which was that Swiping to Seattle Leafs edition. So he was one of the Leaf fans. You got another Leaf fan, and there's also a Penguins fan there. So we're going to see if we can get them out at some point. Definitely is going to be entertaining at the minimum. But it was one of those videos where, you know, you weren't necessarily expecting to do it, so everything you got was really raw. Sort of forgot about the cameras at one point, as you can tell by all the guys with all the cursing. But with that being said, I really wanted to try and encapsulate that into one specific video. And it turned out pretty well in my opinion. I thought it did really well. And it did pretty well also past sort of just the video stage. So for me, those are my top 5. Let me know down below your thoughts. But once again, I just want to reiterate a big thank you for getting us to 200 subscribers on YouTube. If we get to 300, do something similar here. Who knows, maybe it'll be a little bit different of a list by the time we get there. But with that, if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. If you'd like to drop a like, if you really like to consider subscribing, tell all your friends and comment down below your thoughts on the list. Until next time, have a great day.